Hi, I'm April.
And I'm Joe.
And this is
Twice the Dice. I like the way that was kind of like twice the dice. Hey.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay. All right.
I like your strut. You like mine too. Something.
We have this dog. I feel like we should say this. We have this super adorable, cute dog. You can see his picture here. And he demands his walk every day. And so when we take him on a walk, he kind of has this he kind of struts down the street with his head up.
That dog has got more swagger than any dog has a right to.
Yeah, he really does. And so that's the song. So thanks, Thumpasaurus. Great tune.
All right. This is our Q&A post-session wrap-up, all of the good stuff. Thanks for joining with us. This is where we ask each other questions and about the game and how it went. We also answer questions from the community, whether you have just curiosities about how we run, what we're doing, what happened in the game, questions on the lore of the world that we can share.
Anything. Just
really,
anything.
We are totally here for it. So whatever you want to ask.
What book is that? You want to know? We'll answer it. We're here for it. We'll do it.
Yeah, we will.
What's our favorite
And then these
game?
will take a lot longer because, boy, we're happy to
just
talk.
be talking.
So with all that being said, we will get right to it.
Let's do it.
So I think the first thing we're going to start with is community questions. We did get a couple of comments. Thank you to everyone for those. And we did get some questions. So let's see.
So excited.
Tom Martin 77 asks, may I ask what Kel's Oath is and what class is Arlen? Well, Tom Martin 77, you may ask. I'm happy to talk about that. Kel's Oath, he is an Oath of Conquest. And Arlen is actually a lunar sorcerer. So lunar sorcerer is... per D&D canon is part of the Dragonlance campaign setting specifically, but part of the lore and background of the Crown of the Oathbreaker setting is that the moon is actually shattered. It's broken. It's in pieces.
A lot of pieces.
A lot of pieces, yeah. And this is as a result. So if any of y'all have watched our overview video, if you haven't, you can go check that out. I'd probably be a link in the description, or does it throw one up here? If I point here, does it show?
I can do that.
Cool. Awesome.
I'll put a picture or something on there.
So anyway, if you watch that, what you'll see is that part of the history of this, in the past, there was the Dark Star, and when it came to Earth, it blocked out the sun with the moon. And so when the shining light revolted against the Dark Star and the Dark Angels, what they did was they actually broke through the moon to release the sun again. And so when did that, it shattered the moon, broke it into a bunch of pieces, and it rises every night. And interestingly enough, the moon is on a 7-day cycle. So every 7 days you get a full moon, but it's a broken moon. Anywho, long story long, I know it was a lot of explanation, but it's super cool. So I felt like I really wanted to share that. And I felt like I really wanted to do something with that because that was such a cool piece of this world. And so when I made Arlen and decided to make him a sorcerer, I thought, ooh, how neat. Let's make him lunar. So this is a little bit of a modified version to just take advantage of that lore. Did I talk too much about that?
Pretty awesome.
You can tell me I talked too much about
it's
that.
great. And interesting to note, I think it's super cool that you brought that in over from the new Dragonlance setting. And Dragonlance is the first, really that was kind of, we really sort of cut our teeth as gamers on Dragonlance. We played a lot of games in the Dragonlance setting, like way back in the day.
Well, one of the things was I was first introduced to D&D when I was in the 2nd grade, and I was in study hall or whatever we called it in the 2nd grade. It was sometime in between the learning. We were just sitting there. And there were a couple of boys that they had the D&D box set, and they were next to me, and they were playing D&D, and I thought it looked so cool because I already loved fantasy and all of that. And I went and I asked them if I could play, and they said no.
Oh.
I know, isn't that sad?
That's terrible.
And I did not play D&D with a group again until I was 19 and in the military.
Wow.
I found a little gaming group, and we did like a one night. I got to play one night, and so yeah. But the Dragonlance, back to the Dragonlance,
Air Force D&D,
Air Force D&D. No, but the Dragonlance, I was given the box set when it was first released when I was 12. I want to say I'd have to go back and look for sure, but I think it was like 10 or 12 when the Dragonlance Chronicles were released, and somebody bought me the box set. And it was one of my, and at that time, I didn't know anything to do with D&D because this is how it ties back to the second grade story and my just absolute devastation of being turned away from it. I didn't know that it actually had anything to do with D&D. And incidentally, I also read a lot of the original Forgotten Realms books, like the Moonshae, was it the Moonshae trilogy? Had no idea it had anything to do with D&D. But anyway, that was the whole thing. And so then when I actually got a chance to play D&D, and I realized it was Dragonlance, and those were the books that I had read, and oh my gosh, yeah, we did a lot of gaming in that setting.
And this is our copy of Leaves from the Inn of the Last Home. And in here is, they have compositions and like recipes and all kinds of stuff. This book still smells like our first apartment. Vaguely like cigarette smoke and long nights and Whataburger. But in here, if I remember right, and I couldn't tell you where. Oh, yeah. So there's music in here, and it includes Lord Soth's theme that somebody wrote. A buddy of mine in high school that I took this book to, and he was an orchestra, a bit of a prodigy. Did I say that right? Prodigy. That's how English works. And I took it to him, and I said, Could you play this for me? I don't know what it sounds like. And he's like, sure. And it was fine. It was fine. He was great. The music was fine, but it was Lord Soth's theme, and I was so excited.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Can we please? Not right now, but I totally want you to play those.
You want me to record it like a demo?
I don't want you to record it. I just want you to get your guitar and play it.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Oh, yeah.
Later date.
Yeah. Anywho, okay. Back to this.
At it first.
So yes, we are how far in, and we've managed to answer one community question. Okay.
Question.
Next question.
Question 2. Oh, hey, Michael Villa 9344 asked, "What are you using for background music?" Well, I'm very glad you asked, and I'm happy to answer that question as the person who edits these videos.
Yes.
So I was very concerned about what music can we use, what can we not use. I've definitely had YouTube, shut down stuff before that I've done, even if it's my own music, which I do that in my professional life outside of this channel. I do music, and I've often posted things with my own songs that they've been like, absolutely not. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I wrote that. So I was like, I don't want to battle YouTube for stuff. And so we weren't going to be able to have music playing in the room, which we typically do. So I found Monument Studios, and I highly, highly, highly recommend their music. Their fantasy packs, like 1 through 3, are such a great deal, and you get hundreds and hundreds of tracks and sound effects, all like royalty free. You can, once you purchase it, you have a license to use it. It's amazing. Monument Studios, that's who we use.
Yes, and thank you, Monument Studios, for being you.
For being you.
Because I love that people do awesome stuff.
We love you, Monument Studios.
What just fell down?
What fell down?
We don't need to talk about it.
Oh, no.
That was Nevermore.
Was it Lord Soth?
No, it was the Raven.
Oh.
Anywho, all right.
We should answer that question that nobody has asked. Why is there a raven? Well, it's a great question.
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
We have so many, diorama?
Sure.
How do you say it?
We make scenes with our toys.
We make scenes with toys of campaigns that we've done. We recently did April wrapped up.
I keep doing it.
What?
So y'all, I'm gonna, for full disclosure and transparency.
The table with your elbows.
Yeah, I hit the table with my elbows. The camera, we actually have the laptop right over there that's showing us, and so I can see. I can see.
I'm not
you
looking.
better.
I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
So
I'm actually watching you over there.
I didn't want, but they're right there.
But they're there.
Hey,
Hi.
everybody. So right behind us, we have all these scenes from campaigns that we've done. We thought it'd be a cool way to kind of dress up the room is to have kind of the minis that we're using in the campaign, create a little diorama of maybe a scene from that. So we have Curse of Strahd, which April wrapped up recently, and that's what the Raven came from and just leapt from. So
Yeah, because
it was
Strahd.
intense. Strahd,
Yeah.
pushing ravens right off of that
That was a
castle.
fun campaign. I
It was
really
a
liked
good
that.
time.
Yeah.
You were amazing, amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. Well, I had a lot of great stuff to work with. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Back to this. So that's the questions. We answered those. Yay. Now we have questions for each other. Look,
We
do you
do.
like how I'm like moving us
Yeah,
along
I like
and
it.
keeping us on track?
I do.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, me too.
Who's going to go first? Do you want to go back and forth? You can go ahead. You ask your first question, and then I'll ask my first
Why
question.
don't we do it a little bit differently this time? Why don't you just ask
At the
me
same time?
Yeah, let's just see what happens. No, why don't you just ask me your questions and then I'll ask my
Okay.
questions.
Okay, so here's my first question. Let's talk about Byra.
Okay.
Byra,
We don't talk about
who's an absolute mess. So we took Byra home, and so far that's the last that we've seen of her. We took her to the candy shop. We took her to her family's bakery. And so far, that's the last we've seen of Byra. Did you kind of have it in your mind? Because you never know how long
Right.
moments are going to last, how long an NPC is going to be there. You know, we could have said at some point during all that, you know, going to be like, oh, Byra, let's go do this. Oh, Byra's part of, you know. Did you have it in your mind that Byra was going to be around? And she may come back, but did you have it in your mind that she was going to be around longer than she was?
I didn't have it in my mind that she would be around longer.
Mm-hmm.
I always have the anticipation that anybody that is met in a game could be there longer than whatever is planned for.
Right.
So, yeah. So, I mean, she certainly could have been around longer. But I didn't have it like, oh yeah, you totally need to, you know, that as far as from what she was a part of that encounter.
Yeah.
Doing the things she did. So yeah.
Well, in honor of Byra's amazing shop, by the way, which was absolutely incredible.
The
I could
Halfling's treasure.
The Halfling's
Is
treasure.
that
It was like the Willy Wonka of Halfling shops.
Yeah.
I brought you something in honor of the shop.
Did you bring me some?
It's a cookie
Oh,
from American Airlines. It's just a cookie. I can't eat those. So they gave it to me on the flight, and I was like, I'm going to keep that for our Q&A.
oh, how sweet.
They're really good. It's great on top of
I
ice cream.
love it. Yeah, I'm amazing. And it will go so nicely with my coffee.
Do you want my second question, or are we
Yeah.
switching?
Okay,
Okay,
no,
great.
hit me up, and then I'll hit you.
Okay, so cities.
Yes.
As a dungeon master, there is so much to learn
yeah.
and to know. Not only are there, shops with what do the shops have, what's the flavor of the shop, what's important to know in the city. You've got the politics, you've got the people, you've got the relationships that people have with each other, and you never know how long PCs are going to spend in the
Right.
city. So, what would you say to other DMs is like, when your player enters a city, this is kind of the bare minimum that you should know about that place, because you can't remember all of it,
Right.
right? That's what the book is for.
Yeah.
But what should you have kind of really locked down?
Yeah. Well, especially for me, because I tend to, this is not my library, so I can't hold all that in my head.
Right.
So when I go into the city, what I do try to know is a general feel of the city, so that can be communicated. Having some kind of idea of what the player is most likely to come into contact with, in terms of even if it's just passing by on the street, guards, things like that. And just kind of a general sense of like, well, what are the people like? So that the city feels alive,
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a specific encounter for all of them, but I have more of a sense of things than anything. So like you said, is it a large city? Is it a rich city? Does it have poor sides, richer sides? Just kind of how do the people generally behave? Is it the kind of place that has, the opportunity for a big magic shop, or no, not so much? And not really knowing specifically this shop, that shop, but, because I can't, and especially in this thing, because I think there's something like 180 named locations and described within Oned Beer alone. And they end it with going, and these are just some of the suggestions. Feel free to add your own. There's
so much.
Right. So there's no way I'm going to remember all of that. But I think if I at least have that kind of feel of the sense of the city and the people who are in it, then when you walk in, if you're going through the gates, do they have guards? Okay, great. I don't have to have a specific encounter, but I know, hey, the city feels ominous. The city feels happy. The city feels safe. Those kinds of things.
So your advice would be like lock in the general vibe of the city.
I mean, if you want to just like say it succinctly. And then beyond that, it's just like anything else, scenes. What is, some of that I pulled by straight up asking at the end of each session, hey, what are you planning to do? I'm going to go try to find an armorer. Oh, okay, great. Good to know. Let's go find that, and let's go make sure we put that in place. So I try to make sure that I know general scenes and stuff. So like for this, I knew you were wanting to bring Byra back home. Oh, okay. Need to make sure where is that? You were going to probably make it to the Lucky Leap, so I wanted to be familiar with that.
Amazing, by the way. I liked all the locations we went to. The Lucky Leap, it was so great to, and I don't think every tavern has to be like its own special magical thing. Some taverns are just taverns, right? Mm-hmm. But the fact that there was the kind of, how far can you jump, and then that's what you win in drinks or what. I thought that was brilliant. And it was so fun.
Congratulations, Elderbrain.
Nice job. Good job. It was very cool to come upon that because it was completely unexpected. And it was fun. It was really fun. It was fun to be in the way.
Yeah.
Because I was like walking in and then people are looking at Kel like, hey, what are you doing? This guy, oh, sorry. And Joe felt like I was in the way of something. And it was actually like a really cool kind of moment. It was neat. It was just really cool.
Yeah.
Pretty rad.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you liked it. Did I answer the question?
I think so.
Okay, good.
For sure. Okay, last question I have. Is it odd to have a character who seemingly has his mind on very mundane things? A lot of times you kick off a campaign and it's, we're going to go fight the so-and-so. Oh, it's us. Incredible danger. Oh, we're trapped in the dungeon and they're going to make us fight each other to the death and we got to escape. And Kel's like, I should probably look for work. He's like, I could haul this and let me go reach out to my contacts and we got to start earning a living and get a place. Is it because I don't always have characters like that or in situations like that. And I know a lot happens. I see how thick the book is. I see the cover. I know things are and things are already kind of happening and brewing. Yeah. It's like Rowan talking about there's a darkness stirring and like all the. It's all the signs are there. But I think Kel is so practical in some ways. Is it weird or odd to be running a character that has his mind on such what seems like mundane stuff? Like
I think it's awesome.
I need to have a spare wagon wheel, and is there somebody who sells tools?
Yeah, no, I think it's fantastic. I think you have this great. Oh, look at us!
Oh wow, did we do that?
We did. I did it first.
Twinsies.
Yeah. Tink. Tink. I think you have this great sense of who Kel is. and what drives him, and what his concerns are, and things like that. And that's what he's focused on. Like you said, he is very practical, and so it's really going to be interesting seeing that and seeing the potential contrast, or like what happens when it does hit the proverbial fan, and here, what is that going to look like? So no, I don't find it weird at all. I mean, and the thing about it is, you're picking up what I'm putting down. So whether or not, Kel kind of has this, if you want to call it, very pragmatic and mundane approach to things, I feel like there's still been, you're fully engaged in interacting and reacting, which, oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm not going to click my nails. So yeah, I think I'm enjoying watching it. I'm excited to see what's this going to look like,
right?
And I mean, you seem engaged and interested, and like you're enjoying it, and I'm enjoying it. So you can't really ask for more than that.
This is true. It's very true.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it's weird at all. I think it's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the questions that I've got about that.
All righty. Well,
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Tell me.
I will do it.
If you will.
I will.
What was one thing you loved about this session? Because I know there were so many things, but just tell me one.
All the moments. Probably not the things you would expect. I loved talking about the inspection of the cart rolling into the city, that they inspect the carts to take a look, that it's quick. I love that you talked about the guild that he's probably part of is sort of maybe a merchant's guild or a caravanning guild. To haul supplies, you have to have that. And then we talked about Kel probably hasn't paid his dues in a while because he's been out in Nangrath, and he's like, I don't come to the city. I'm not gonna pay you nothing. I don't, I love that we had that conversation. I loved Byra's family, and I like that it was important. I love that it was important to Kel in the moment to make sure and impart to them. And he was also kind of reminding himself, as much of a troublemaker as she seemed like, and she kind of had this irreverent sort of attitude about what she did, but at the end of the day, she saved who knows how many people from a manticore in a very, springing a trap and getting caught, and it was a mess, and we had to save her and like all this kind of stuff. But she saved Willow Creek. And in telling her folks that, he also was reminding himself, that she did this incredible thing, and that's great. It was also a great moment talking to Arlen about what adventurers are. Because they would have that. They have these stories of heroes and all that. And it was really great as a character to be. And he doesn't see himself in this light.
Right.
But it was great to say, hey, look, there's people who they do this. They go out in the world and, they're champions. And, some people get paid for that. I mean, like you can really get out there and do some good. And you got a good heart. And it's interesting that he doesn't see himself in that light. So, yeah, those were some really cool moments.
Cool.
Did you expect that I would say any of those? Inspections at the gate and making sure your guild dues are paid up is a real hoot. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Well, so let me follow out. But if you can answer this, because sometimes we like what we like.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know.
Right.
What is there? Do you know why that stood out to you so much?
Absolutely, I know exactly why.
Okay.
If you were to go into details, like Kel had to go have a meeting with the caravanning guild and then had to work some kind of thing where he had to convince somebody, that would be just way too much. But having a touch of what makes sense in the world and also not making the character have to do anything with it because it's just part of their experience,
right,
it's amazing. You feel more tied into things, you feel more a part of things. It's like, yeah, of course he would have all that, and then we can just kind of riff on that kind of conversation like with the guard and move on, because he has that experience, he has all that knowledge, and we can just talk about it and move on. And it can be like, oh, it was a nice piece of, we didn't have to get into the sort of the drudgery
of bureaucracy.
Of bureaucracy, right. We can just touch on it.
We're not going to play bureaucracy, the game.
Well, hang on. I've got to go make a charisma check to convince the guild leader that but it was just a little touch of that in there, and it was really cool. It just makes the world a little more tangible.
Cool.
Makes it more tangible, yeah.
Awesome. All right. What did you learn or what surprised you?
I think what surprised me is that, and again, this is a reflection, I think, on the character. I think it really surprised me that he is somebody who has had pretty wondrous things happen, but he still doesn't put himself in the shoes of other people that he knows of who can do these things. He looks at someone like Rowan. Rowan's a local hero. He's a ranger. He saves people. He does all these amazing things. Arlen's a sorcerer. Not that he knows what they're called. He's just like, yeah, Arlen does magic. But he can do all this amazing and wondrous stuff. It's like, wait a minute. Kel can heal people, and he can infuse his attacks with this like tremendous anger and stuff that he can. I mean, it's way more than like, than just somebody off the street can do. But he sees it more like, clearly someone's made a mistake here, and he is the result of someone's error in judgment. And he doesn't even think of it as, like down on himself. He's just like, yeah, this makes no sense.
Okay.
But check out Arlen. Yeah, he's great. He can do some stuff. Byra saved a whole town. You know what I mean? It's like he doesn't see himself in that light. So that was a pretty cool moment for me. I think I mentioned that earlier when we were talking about Byra's folks and kind of the comment, but that also surprised me.
Okay, what surprised you?
That he sees himself that way.
Oh, okay. I heard everything he was saying. I was like, but what part of that was surprising? Okay.
Yeah, that was surprising. When he's like saying these things about these other people, that he sees them in a different class.
Right. Okay.
Right. These are people that change the world.
Right, and that he doesn't see himself that way.
He sees himself as just part of it.
Right. Yet. Maybe.
Yet. Who knows? Who knows?
Okay. So, heading to Oathbreaker.
Yes.
What is one thing that Kel is hoping for? Like, we're talking about if Kel had dreams and hopes, what would be one ideal thing that would happen for him? Or for Arlen, or whatever, but just one ideal thing.
I think it's going to be very underwhelming to hear, because we're talking about this character.
Right, sure. I didn't say the moon and stars.
Honestly, his big hope, there's two of them, I think. One's very personal, and then one is very practical. I think on a personal level, he wants to know more about what's going on with him. Mm-hmm. And he wants to clear up some things about his mother. Mm-hmm. And he feels like those answers are coming when he goes and talks to Sign. Okay. The other thing is he wants a job. He wants to secure some income so he can get a place, so he can start a life that he feels he'll be more in control of. When the truth is, he's always been in control of his actions. But how often are we like, oh, now I can finally do what I need to do? Yeah, well, you could have done that a time ago too, but you didn't. So he's looking forward to getting up on his feet. Okay. Really getting up on his feet.
All right. My last one.
Yes.
Is there any part of this session that you wish had gone differently? And that can be, I wish you hadn't spent, April, I wish you hadn't spent too much time on this, or I wish you hadn't, you rushed me past that. Yeah, I don't know what
I don't think so at all. No, I appreciated, I loved the narrative focus. I mean, we have, you may not know this from this session, we have quite a few combat encounters that happen in our games, and we don't usually use a virtual tabletop. We prefer just talking directly to each other the whole time. And if we need to have maps and things like that, then we have these kind of centerpiece moments where we'll find a map and bring out the minis and all that. I appreciated that we didn't have to do that. I don't think a single die was rolled. I don't remember there being a die rolled.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, and I love that. And a lot of sessions go like that. They'll go for hours without ever picking up a die. And it's one of the things I think makes these duets so great is because we can have that just real focus on dialogue. You can have really in-depth conversations and then move the camera when you need to. So I don't think there's anything that I wish would have gone differently. I think I loved all of it.
Is there anything, Kel, we should gone differently?
No.
He's like, I got the pie.
Oh, yeah, the pie. Oh, well, that was great. Oh, that was a great realization. Well, then, like, he makes pie. Like, that's the one thing that he's good at, is he can make, Kel can make, a killer apple pie. But that's the only thing. So that was nice. And then, of course, off from that going, yeah, that's something that he does for clients and friends. Like, he'll bring them things because that's something that his dad would have taught him. Always bring a gift, even in business. You should, it helps build trust and build relationships. And this is a business built on relationships, and it's about people. And so we want to take care of people, not just in the delivery of their goods, but in being there for them. So
cool.
Yeah. Yay. That's mwah. Thank you.
We did good.
We did good.
Well, that was all the questions that I had.
And that's all the answers I had.
Yeah.
And questions that I had.
Yeah. And now we will pick up with episode 3. With twice the dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, thanks for joining us. Keep the comments and questions coming. And show up next time for episode 3.
Yeah.
And
thanks so much. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
We gotta find a graceful exit.
Yep.